Hello and welcome. Good morning. This is Business Morning. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagutina from the global oil markets. Prices rose in early trade buoyed by a COVID-19 vaccine rollout in Britain and the imminent approval of a vaccine in the United States, which could spur a rebound in fuel demand, despite a large build in U.S. crude stocks last week. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose 23 cents to $45.75 a barrel, while Brent crude futures climbed 21 cents to $49.07 a barrel. Prices were little changed overnight. Oil prices were also supported by some nervousness after two wells of a small oil field in northern Iraq were set ablaze in what the government called a terrorist attack, though production was not affected. Analysts were surprised that the market had shrugged off an unexpectedly large build in U.S. crude stocks in government data released on Wednesday, largely due to a plunge in U.S. crude exports to their lowest since 2018. The Energy Information Administration said crude inventories rose by 15.2 million barrels in the week to December 4, compared with analysts' expectations. In the meantime, the National Bureau of Statistics this week reported that Nigeria's total foreign trade for the third quarter of 2020 rose by 34.15% to stand at 8.4 trillion naira compared to 6.24 trillion naira recorded in the previous quarter. Our total imports stood at 5.38 trillion naira in the third quarter, while total exports stood at 2.99 trillion naira, that's 34.85% higher in third quarter 2020 than the 2.22 trillion naira recorded in the second quarter. Now, this data reflects the fact that this year, Nigeria has continued to witness lower exports and higher imports. And the question many would ask is, why? When it has become obvious that we cannot continue to remain as import-dependent economy. All right, let's have this conversation with an export consultant and the former chairman, Export Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Bamidele Ayemibo. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayemibo, for joining us. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Good.
How are you doing?
Fine, and you?
Very well, thank you. Well, the rise we saw in the total trade is largely attributed to, the amounts generated from imports. Again, this points to the fact that Nigeria continuously remains an import-dependent economy. Are you concerned about this trend?
Of course, very much concerned and deeply concerned, considering the fact that we don't even have enough forex to fund those imports. So I'm very much concerned, and I think we need to do, we've been trying to also revert the trend for a long time, but I think the government is not doing enough in that regard. If you have been checking the paper in recent time, you've been seeing a lot of reports about the issues at the port, the fact that there's a new policy that is slowing down the rate at which export is being done. So if we are currently having more import than export, and we are consuming our foreign exchange, and then we are having hindrances to export out of the country, it doesn't really show that we're really ready to grow that volume of our non-oil export as far as country is concerned.
Now, recently, the central bank expressed some concern over the non-remittance of export proceeds by some exporters. Is this correct? And why should that be? You're talking about the challenges we have in the exchange rate market.
Yes.
Now, if they are not remitting the exports proceeds, how do we shore up our reserves? And again, so what are the issues?
Now, first of all, in 2016, when we had this kind of issue, we had a large disparity between the parallel market and what you have within the official rate. CBN came up with the I&E window that enables exporters to be selling at about 360, even though the official rate for CBN for importers and like about 305 or thereabout. Now, today, CBN had depreciated to about 390. Parallel market is over 450, 460. And CBN wants individual to export and then sell at 380. Now, if you sell at 380, 390, and you're doing commodity, you're not adding value, you're going to be at a loss. A huge loss. And we've made this representation to CBN several times. Recently CBN had a stakeholder meeting with exporter, and I specifically mentioned this to the person that facilitated that session, and one of the directors actually tried to answer, and I said, look, it's at a loss. So if exporter is going to be at a loss, exporting and selling at the rate. You did it 3 years ago. 4 years ago, 2016, you were doing 360, 305. Now, the exchange rate, and you know what happened in the spaces? If you check this day, some of the newspaper, you see the rate of some of these commodities. And these farmers selling the commodity are aware that, oh, you mean this guy is going to make more money. So as the exchange rate is going up, the farmer is also, supplier also increasing the rate at which these commodities are being procured. And the reason also is because a number of people come into Nigeria to come and buy this thing for export. I'm talking about non-remittance also. Apart from the fact that a number of Nigerians are not able to export profitably, there's some foreigners that are coming to Nigeria. They come to export this product. They didn't come to repatriate fund, and they come to export without doing documentation, of course. So those are the one I think CBN really will be more concerned about. But for Nigerians, I think CBN need to do something about the convergence of the exchange rate, so that at the end of the day, we don't have large disparity that is making the cost of procurement of the commodity to be high.
Now, this recent pronouncement that they kept, the remittances, diaspora remittances, do you think that
it's a good one? People, in fact, immediately that happened, the DG, I spoke with the DG at the chamber, and he said he actually called CBN to ask, why are you not doing this for export? I said, no, it's not for export yet, it's just for remittances. It's just for remittances. So we are hoping that CBN will consider that. Sincerely, for me, it's a good step in the right direction. We don't have enough forex, right? You want to bring down the rate, right? So if remittances are coming out, everybody is flooding the parallel market to sell their dollar. Of course, you expect the supply to increase and the price to go down. And I was thinking that might be the same for non-oil export. But for one reason or the other, CBN in his own wisdom feel it's not going to do that for export. But sincerely, if we're going to bring down that rate, we really need to do that.
Yeah. Now, a weak currency should ordinarily be an incentive, to boost exports.
Exactly.
So why is Nigeria's case
different? Because we are thriving more in commodities. So most people that are adding value will still be able to make profit. I still export value-added processed agro product, and we're still profitable in spite of the rate issue. Why? Because if you're adding value, if you sell raw material locally and you add value to it, even with the issues in the economy, the cost of production and the like, you're still going to be profitable because you're adding value and you're going to sell at a premium. If I'm going to sell cashew nut, raw cashew nut, probably about 1,000 plus, or probably between $800 and $1,200, raw cashew nut. Immediately I remove the shell. I can sell as high as $10,000, $11,000, even $12,000 because I've removed the shell. So by adding value, I'm able to sell at a higher price. Look at cocoa. The total cocoa market, sometimes we talk about cocoa, it's like one of the major items we export in Nigeria. But the total cocoa market in the world is about $9 billion. Max 10 billion, 9 point something billion.
But we don't
total
produce
cocoa market.
much when you talk about cocoa.
No, look at this. Total cocoa market, about $10 billion. Chocolate alone is $30 billion. So who is making money? Who is making money? If chocolate alone is 30, the total value chain of that sector is over $100 billion. So the people making money are the people buying the raw materials. So if we add value, it will be good for us. So I think government should encourage a lot of people to add value and support as much as possible. If we add value, we won't have so much issues. But if we are still doing with primary commodity, because for commodity, the buyer determines the price. If the buyer is not buying from you, like it did last year or 2 years ago, that why we should cashew nut, but anytime some country like Vietnam have bumper harvest, they won't buy enough from us. We have glut in our own system.
Now, when you keep talking about adding value,
yes.
When you talk about this value addition, can you be specific? What exactly
processing?
Are these?
Processing. So I'm
processing,
converting
packaging,
exactly,
and all of that.
Exactly. Processing, packaging. I mentioned the cashew nut. So look at cashew nut. Immediately, if I'm selling raw cashew nut, I can sell to maybe India, Vietnam. Immediately, I remove the shell. I can sell to Europe, I can sell to America, I can sell to Asia, I can sell to many countries. So the demand goes up, and of course the price goes up also. So when I'm talking about value addition, I'm just talking about the fact that we shouldn't go ahead and sell primary commodity. In fact, someone said, when we export commodity, it's like we're exporting job and importing poverty. Because really, the people that add value to those products are the ones that at the end of the day benefit from it. Both in terms of how much they are selling it, but more importantly, even in job creation. Even in job creation.
Now, recently there has been this huge backlog of export cargoes at the ports, because of some kind of severe connection issues with the customs and the shipping companies. Just wondering how bad the situation is.
I did a shipment. I'm doing a shipment right now. So I actually spoke to someone in CBN on this issue. So CBN came out with a new I won't say a new process, actually. The process has always been in existence. What they've done is to enforce it. And how are they enforcing it? If you're going to ship out of Nigeria, you're going to use a shipping line, right? So now the shipping line is expected to validate your NXP. NXP, the Nigerian Export Proceed Form. That form is needed for me to be able to, like application form for export out of Nigeria. So I need to validate through the shipping line. Now, but the customs, we have to issue what is called SGD, Single Good Declaration. The government inspection agent, we have to issue what is called CCI, Clean Certificate of Inspection. And they need to upload it to a portal where the shipping line will see it to be able to allow this good to be loaded on board. So what has happened now is that instead of just issuing before, which is a challenge also because of capacity and the like, now they will issue, they will upload. So they have more work to do. Then they have network issues. Then the people who were used to exporting without documentation are forced to do it now. So the volume of work has increased. A number of them don't want to do it, and they're looking for a way out by all means. But that's not happening because the shipping line will ensure you do what is right. So what is causing the glut right now is that there's so much for the shipping line and custom to handle at the same time, coupled with the gridlock and the issue in Apapa.
So how do you think this can be addressed, really?
First of all, I think the shipping line, the inspection agent and custom need to build capacity. And I think they need to work overnight for a while to clear all the backlog. They need to work overnight for a while. They need to build capacity in terms of the number of staff that's handling, because then they have to handle for the whole country. So it's like you are doing a shipment, you're doing about $2 billion in a year. Now, but you're actually in the recent doing about $4-5 billion. But now the $3 billion are going now without documentation. Now everybody has to do documentation. So the people are more to do, much more than they ever have done in the past. So we need more capacity building. They also need to have a better, because sometimes they will tell you the network is down, so they don't have network. So it's high-speed internet network, capacity building, and working 24 hours at least to be able to clear the backlog.
Now, we're having all of these issues, and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is supposed to get started January 1.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wonder how we're going to deal with all of this.
Yeah, I was just to answer that. Now, those are the issues that I think for AFCF, the beauty of AFCFTA is that, I got across to one of the people in National Commission recently. I wanted to ask, okay, because for you to trade under AFCFTA, you need certificate of origin that shows your good is off. So I said, what's the procedure? Do we have it yet? He said, no. Because we just ratified. And
that's a major problem.
Yeah, so we trading is starting in January 1, but I'm not sure we will be able to do much until maybe February, March, April, because that process has to be in place and people have to begin to register their product under the AFCFTA. But we might begin to get the heat, people exporting to Nigeria, maybe. But in terms of export from Nigeria under AFCFTA, I don't see that happening until probably towards the end of first quarter. At least we need to put that process in place first for us to be able to. And probably we might need to.
Are we coming rather too late? I mean, we've been talking about this.
Obviously, we're coming too late. We're coming too late. But it's better late than never. We were coming too late. I mean, we were supposed to bid for the headquarters that went to Ghana eventually. Absolutely. Because we didn't sign when we were supposed to sign. Now we've ratified. I mean, the beauty is that whatever the case is, we have signed, we have ratified, we are in already. It's now for us to get ready. So I think, for Channels TV and other people in the media, we need to increase publicity about it, sincerely. You know why? ETLS within West Africa is 30 years old. Many Nigerians are not even aware, and they can enjoy that benefit. I see the same thing happen under AFCFTA, that with the huge opportunity in Africa, many businesses that are qualified, that could have enjoyed it, are not even aware such as this. Talk less of even trying to do it in the first place.
Now, for export consultants like you,
yes.
I mean, you're talking about, this is an advocacy work to get people
I
informed about the AFTA, and then you have to work with the trade negotiator.
Yeah.
He was on our show
a
few days ago.
I saw it.
Absolutely. So how can you work with a trade negotiator to actually ensure that there's awareness?
Now, so for us as an individual, I'm talking about my company now, we do seminars every Thursday by 5 p.m. on AFCFTA. And we've had programs. So in the next 1 year, we'll be analyzing every country in Africa, from Algeria next week till to Zimbabwe. Now, that's on our own. The NAC, National Committee, is actually doing a number of programs. But when this program is being organized, not everybody gets to know. So I engage with bankers a lot. We do training for them. And sincerely, most of them are not aware. They're not even Okay, they now have something is called AFCFT, but in terms of preparation to be able to educate their
even
customers,
understand.
they understand.
Because it's not, I mean, I want to believe that even services is also
including services, of course. So National Committee have been organizing a lot of events, and because I've attended a lot of, I go to their website, so I get to attend a number of those events. So they're doing a lot, but you are doing a lot, but it's not so many people that, I mean, you organize such an event that you may spend thousands, probably I'm seeing about 100 or 200 or 300 people. So I think the awareness creation, both on the part of NOTN, the National Negotiator, and the National Action Committee need to go up, including Nigeria's Promotion Council need to go very, very high up. You know the way we do election, that you know the candidate because of the campaign. I think we need to do that for you, because I feel this will be an opportunity for us to lift a lot of Africans out of poverty, because we can do a lot of trade among ourselves, just the way the Europeans have been able to do among themselves.
Well, we're talking about AFTA, and then there's this issue of border closure. Are we opening it, or we're not opening it?
I think it will be open. I think it will be open because sincerely, okay, ETLS does not have room for arbitration. When there are issues between countries, how do we resolve it? Yeah. But luckily, AFCFTA has such. So I think if in the future we have issues with our neighbor on trade issue, we can explore the option of the dispute resolution under the AFCFTA rather than closing the border. So I'm hoping the government will, and a lot of stakeholder engagement is going on now to see how it can be done, because indeed we can't really say we want to do AFCFTA and close the border. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Now let's look at the free trade zones. I know that that has been used in many countries to actually drive export. Now, could you assess the performance of Nigeria free trade zones? When
a foreigner is coming into Nigeria, it goes into our books, our laws, and check all the provision that benefit him. When Nigerian is starting business, he doesn't even check that at all. So the people that enjoy this thing you talk about, free trade area, free trade zones, are foreigners. Coming back to the same thing I talked about publicity and advocacy. So I want to set up a factory. If I know that if I go to a free trade zone, I'm going to have a lot of incentive, and it's going to reduce my cost of doing business, but of course I have to be ready to also ensure what I'm producing there is bound for export. Sincerely, maybe a number of people will go there. But in Nigeria today, that's not what happened. Majority of people there, either they are conglomerate who are well informed, or the foreigners. So we need a lot of advocacy and publicity for SMEs and businesses to be able to consider the free trade zone.
Now, looking at the scenario now in the export sector, what is your outlook, for next year, coming year, particularly as we, kick off with this AFCTA? Perhaps by first quarter of 2021, are we likely to see a boost in the exports?
I expect to see a boost in export because demand is expected to increase because vaccine is here.
But do we even have anything to export?
Oh, Nigeria. Do you know the interesting thing about Nigeria? When you think of export, you think only of commodities. I export broom, granite, peanut, granite cake, that's kulikuli, and pap. Now, these are just regular food items. You can go to manufactured goods. Nigeria have huge, what we did in the seminar I told you about? We discovered about 70 products that Africa currently import, about 90 products that Africa currently imports that Nigeria have capacity to export. From tissue paper to regular paper there's so much we can export. The challenge has been when people think of export, they think of commodities because that's what we've done many years ago.
Perhaps we have to begin now to think out of the box.
Exactly. And reorientate our people about the fact that export is much more than commodities.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bamidele Ayemibo is an export consultant. Commodities market update is next.